9 out of 10 people have a can of WD-40 sitting in their garage right now, and almost none of them know what it can actually do. Most of them think it's for squeaky hinges and nothing else, which is like owning a smartphone and using it as a paperweight. I've spent more than 20 years in repair shops, and I've watched drivers hand me hundreds of dollars for jobs a can that cost less than a sandwich could have handled in their own driveway. The people selling you parts and labor have no reason to point that out. Today I'm going to show you 9 things this can quietly does that the trade would rather you never find out. And stay until number 1 because it's the reason this product exists in the first place. The secret is hidden right there in the name. It can bring a car that refuses to start back to life in your driveway for free in about 5 minutes. Number 9. Dissolving road tar, bug splatter, and tree sap. Look at the lower doors and front bumper of almost any car that's seen a real summer. You'll find a brown film of road tar along the rockers, a crust of dead bugs baked across the nose, and if it ever parked under the wrong tree, hard beads of sap welded to the paint. Most people think that's a cosmetic problem, and it isn't. Bug guts are acidic, and tree sap hardens and contracts as it cures, and both of them quietly etch down through your clear coat until they leave permanent rings and dull patches that no wash will ever bring back. Here's what the detail shop won't tell you while they're quoting a paint decontamination service. The petroleum-based solvent that makes up most of a can of WD-40 breaks the bond between that gunk and your paint without any scrubbing at all. I've pulled tar off the rocker panels of hundreds of cars over the years, and the pattern never changes. The ones somebody attacked with a stiff brush and elbow grease come out swirled and scratched, while the ones that got a light solvent and a soft cloth come out clean and untouched. The solvent does the work, not the friction. The fix takes 2 minutes. Spray a little directly onto the tar or sap, let it sit for 30 to 60 seconds so it can soften the bond, then wipe it away with a clean microfiber towel. Wash that spot afterward with car soap and water so you're not leaving an oily film on the paint. A detailer will charge you around $112 for the same decontamination, and that whole can in your hand costs about $7.48. Number 8. Silencing squeaky hinges, latches, and the hood release. This is the one use everybody knows, and almost everybody still does it wrong. A door that groans when it opens, a hood latch that fights you, a trunk hinge that chirps every time you close it. People hear that and assume the part is wearing out. What's actually happening is that the factory grease in those pivot points has dried into a gummy varnish, and metal is now grinding against metal with nothing between them. Think about the last time a hinge on your car squeaked. Did you spray the outside of it and call it done? That's what most people do, and it's why the noise comes back in a week. The lubricant has to reach the pin inside the hinge, not just coat the surface you can see. Here's the part the quick lube counter won't mention when they tack a $39 lubrication charge onto your bill. You open the door fully, find the actual pivot pin and the latch mechanism, and put the solvent right on the moving joint while you work it back and forth a few times. The thin formula creeps into the pin, flushes out the old hardened grease, and the noise stops for real. Do your door hinges, the hood latch, the trunk, and the fuel door once a year, and you'll never hear another groan, and you'll never pay anyone to silence a sound you could have killed yourself in 90 seconds. Number 7. Freeing seized, rusted bolts. Sooner or later, you try to remove a bolt that hasn't moved in years. A battery clamp, a license plate screw, a drain plug, and it won't budge. You lean into the wrench, and that's exactly when people snap the head clean off, turning a 5-minute job into a drilling and extraction nightmare. What's holding that bolt is rust that has formed in the threads and effectively welded the fastener to whatever it's threaded into. A landscaper from outside Sacramento brought me his F150 a few years back after he'd tried to swap his own battery and sheared the bolt right off the terminal clamp. By the time it reached me, it needed drilling and a thread chase, and that turned an afternoon favor into a $238 repair. Had he soaked it first, the bolt would have spun out by hand. The trick is patience, not force. You spray the threads where the bolt meets the metal, then you wait at least 10 to 15 minutes, longer on something badly corroded, so the solvent can creep down into the threads and break the rust loose. Then it backs out with a fraction of the effort. For the worst, most stubborn hardware, a dedicated penetrating oil will beat it. But for the everyday seized bolt in your driveway, this is the difference between an easy job and a snapped fastener you're now paying someone else to drill out. Number 6. Removing old stickers, decals, and adhesive residue. Old registration stickers layered on the windshield, a faded dealer decal on the trunk you never asked for, the sticky shadow left behind when you finally peel a bumper sticker off. Adhesive is engineered to grab and hold, and heat from the sun bakes it on harder every year. Try to pick it off dry and you either smear it into a gummy mess or, on glass, leave a haze that catches every headlight at night. Picture two trunks I had in the shop the same week, both with the same dealership badge the owners wanted gone. One owner had already gone at his with a razor blade and plastic scraper, and he'd left fine scratches in a ring around where the badge had been. The other car got a few sprays of solvent, a 30-second soak, and the adhesive wiped off with a thumb and a rag, the paint underneath untouched. Same badge, same glue, two completely different outcomes, and the only variable was whether the glue got dissolved or fought. Drop a comment below, by the way. How many old registration stickers are stacked in the corner of your windshield right now? Be honest. The fix is the same every time. Spray the solvent on the adhesive, give it a minute to break down the glue, then wipe it away and clean the spot. A dealer will happily charge you $54 to debadge a panel they stuck the badge on for free. The catch is that this trick only cleans a surface, while the next one stops a problem that leaves people stranded in parking lots and sells them batteries they never needed. Number 5. Cleaning and protecting battery terminals from corrosion. According to the American Automobile Association, dead and weak batteries are among the most common reasons drivers call for roadside help every year. And a real share of those calls aren't a bad battery at all. They're corrosion. That white or bluish-green powder building up on the terminals is acid residue, and it acts like insulation, choking off the connection between the battery and the car. The engine cranks slow or doesn't crank at all, and the driver assumes the battery is finished. Here's what they don't want you knowing at the parts counter. Plenty of the batteries sold over the years went to people whose old battery was perfectly healthy because it simply couldn't push current through a crusted-over terminal. Clean the connection and the car starts like new. The fix has 2 steps, and almost nobody does the second one. With the engine off, disconnect the terminals and scrub the corrosion away with a wire brush and a little baking soda mixed with water, which neutralizes the acid. Once it's clean and dry, reconnect everything and mist a light coat of the solvent over the connections. It displaces the moisture and lays down a thin film that keeps acid and air from eating at the metal, so the buildup takes far longer to return. Skip that step and your terminals are crusted over again by next winter. A few seconds of spray can save you a tow and a $263 battery you never needed. But there's one place on your car where this can absolutely must never go, and getting that wrong can cost you your ability to stop. Number 4. Stripping brake dust and grime off your wheels. Brake dust is brutal on wheels. It's a mix of fine metal shavings and hot resin shed by the brake pads, and when it bakes onto a hot wheel, it bonds to the finish. Leave it long enough and it pits and stains the clear coat permanently, which is why people spend a fortune on special wheel cleaners trying to undo it. A hairstylist from Spokane brought her Civic in, convinced the front wheels were ruined. A gray baked-on film she'd scrubbed at for weeks with nothing to show for it. A light solvent, a few minutes to soak, and an old brush lifted years of brake dust off in a single pass. The wheels weren't damaged at all. They were just buried. Here's the fix, and here's the warning that matters more than the fix. On a cool wheel, spray the solvent onto the face of the wheel. Let it sit a couple of minutes to break down the baked-on dust, then work it with a soft brush and rinse it off with car soap and water. It even leaves a slick film that makes the next round of brake dust easier to hose away. But you must keep it completely off the brake rotors, the pads, and the caliper. Those friction surfaces are built to grip, and any oil or solvent on them can drop your stopping power dangerously. Spray the wheel, never the brake. Quick reminder before we get to the last few. If this is already saving you money, take a second and hit that subscribe button. It's free, and it's what keeps videos like this one coming. Number 3. Keeping your door and trunk seals from freezing shut in winter. If you live anywhere it gets cold, you already know the misery of a car door frozen shut on a January morning, or a trunk that won't open because the rubber gasket has iced over and bonded to the frame. Most people just yank harder, and that's how you tear a weather strip seal, which then lets in water and wind and road noise for the rest of the car's life. I've replaced a lot of door seals over the years that didn't fail from age. They failed from somebody ripping a frozen door open and tearing the rubber right off its channel. The seal was fine until the cold, and a panicked pull finished it. The fix is something you do before the freeze, not during it. On a dry day, spray a light film of the solvent onto a rag and wipe it along the rubber door and trunk seals. It pushes the moisture out of the rubber and leaves a thin barrier so water can't pool and freeze the gasket to the metal. For long-term seal conditioning, a dedicated silicone spray is the better tool, but to stop a door from freezing shut tomorrow morning, a quick wipe tonight does the job. and it saves you the $329 a shop charges to replace a seal you tore off in frustration. And keep that word free in the back of your mind. The trick waiting at number 1 is the reason this product was invented at all, and it can revive a car that won't start without a single tool or a single part. Number 2. Shielding your undercarriage bolts and exposed metal from road salt. This is the one that quietly saves people thousands, and almost nobody does it. Underneath your car sits a whole world of exposed metal, brake line fittings, suspension bolts, fuel line brackets, the hardware holding everything together. In any region that salts the roads, that spray coats all of it and starts rusting it from the first snow of the season. By the time you notice, a brake line is weeping, or a bolt is so corroded it can't come out without cutting. When was the last time you actually looked under your own car? If the honest answer is never, you're in good company. That's exactly why corrosion gets to do its work in the dark for years before anyone catches it. The damage isn't loud, it's just expensive. The fix is a fall ritual that takes 15 minutes. Before salt season, get the car up safely on ramps or jack stands. Spray a light coat of the solvent over the exposed bolts, fittings, and bare metal hardware underneath, staying off the brakes, same rule as before. It displaces the water and lays down a barrier that keeps salt from biting into the steel. Do it every autumn, and those fasteners come apart easily for years instead of seizing solid, sparing you the $1,840 a rusted-out brake line, and its labor can run. And if a 15-minute habit sounds too simple to matter, wait until you hear number 1. It's the trick built into the very name of this product, and it can bring a dead car back to life right in your driveway. Number 1. Water displacement, reviving a car that won't start after rain or a car wash. Here it is, the trick hiding in plain sight right there in the name. WD-40 stands for water displacement, 40th formula. The man who created it was trying to make something that would push water off metal and keep it from rusting, and it took him 40 tries to get the formula right. Pushing water out of places it doesn't belong isn't a side use of this product. It's the entire reason it exists, and almost nobody uses it for the one job it was actually built to do. Here's the scenario it was made for. You drive through a deep puddle, or it pours overnight, or water sneaks into the wrong place at the car wash. Suddenly the engine cranks but won't catch, or it starts and runs rough and stumbling like it's about to quit. On a lot of cars, especially older ones, that's moisture that's worked its way into the ignition, onto the spark plug boots, into the wiring connectors, or under the distributor cap on an older engine. The water is shorting out the spark before it can reach the cylinders. The car isn't broken, it's just wet in the wrong spot. A school bus driver near Portland had her Corolla towed to me, certain the engine was dying. It had cranked, sputtered, and quit after a weekend of hard rain, and a shop had already quoted her to start swapping ignition parts, a $612 guess. I popped the hood, misted the plug boots and the connectors to push the water off, and gave it a minute. The car fired right up and idled smooth. The whole repair was a few seconds of spray, and she'd been one phone call away from paying for parts that were never the problem. Here's exactly how you do it. With the engine off, pop the hood and give the ignition components a light misting. The spark plug wires and boots, the electrical connectors, and on an older car, the distributor cap once you've wiped it dry. The solvent drives the water off the metal and out of the connections. Give it a minute, then try to start it. On a car that died from moisture, it'll usually catch and smooth right out. Keep a can in the trunk, and a rainy morning no start turns into a 5-minute fix in a parking lot instead of a tow and a repair bill built on guesswork. So there it is, 9 jobs that one can in your garage handles, every one of them something the trade would rather quietly put on your bill. Here's your challenge this week. Go grab that can, do the door seals and the battery terminals first, and the next time something on your car squeaks, sticks, or won't come loose, reach for the can before you reach for your wallet. If this opened your eyes to what's been sitting on your shelf the whole time, do me a favor and subscribe so the next one finds you. And if you want to know the everyday habits that quietly kill an engine long before it's time, the small things drivers do every single morning without realizing the damage, click the video on the left. I'll see you there.